The story of Abimelech takes place during the time of the Judges, a turbulent period in Israel's history when there was no king, and the people repeatedly fell into cycles of sin, oppression, repentance, and deliverance. Abimelech, the son of Gideon, also called Jerubbaal, is one of the most ambitious and tragic figures of this era. His story is found in Judges 9 and illustrates the dangers of unchecked ambition, betrayal, and the consequences of turning away from God. Abimelech was one of Gideon's 71 sons. Gideon, a valiant judge, had refused kingship after delivering Israel from the Midianites, saying, "I will not rule over you, nor will my son. The Lord will rule over you." Judges 8 verse 23. Despite this noble stance, Gideon had many wives and concubines, and his legacy became entangled in family rivalries and power struggles. Abimelech, the son of a concubine from Shechem, was not considered equal to Gideon's other sons, which may have fueled his resentment and hunger for power. Abimelech saw an opportunity to rise above his brothers and claim leadership over Israel. He approached his mother's relatives in Shechem, appealing to their sense of tribal loyalty. "Why should all 70 of Gideon's sons rule over you?" he asked. "Wouldn't it be better to have one ruler who is your own flesh and blood?" His argument resonated with the leaders of Shechem, who saw an opportunity to align themselves with a local figure rather than Gideon's other sons, who were more distant in relation and influence. The leaders of Shechem supported Abimelech's bid for power, giving him 70 pieces of silver from the temple of Baal-berith, their pagan god. This detail is significant because it shows how far Israel had fallen into idolatry. They used sacred funds from a pagan temple to finance a coup. Abimelech used the silver to hire a group of reckless and violent men who became his personal army. With his band of followers, Abimelech went to Ophrah, his father's hometown, and carried out a brutal massacre. He killed 70 of his brothers on a single stone, an act of calculated and symbolic violence meant to eliminate all rivals and establish his claim to power. Only one brother, Jotham, managed to escape by hiding. After the massacre, the leaders of Shechem officially crowned Abimelech as king at the Oak of the Pillar in Shechem. This was a significant location, as it was near where Joshua had renewed Israel's covenant with God. Joshua 24 verses 25 to 26. The irony is stark. The place where Israel had once committed to serve the Lord was now the site of a coronation for a man who had shed innocent blood and turned to idolatry. Jotham, the sole survivor of Abimelech's slaughter, climbed Mount Gerizim and shouted a parable to the people of Shechem. He told the story of trees seeking a king. The olive tree, fig tree, and vine all refused the offer, content with their purpose. But the bramble, a thorny and useless bush, accepted, saying it would provide shade but would also burn anyone who opposed it. Jotham's parable was a thinly veiled warning. Abimelech was like the bramble, unfit to rule and dangerous to those who supported him. Jotham concluded with a curse, saying, "If you have acted honorably in making Abimelech king, may you rejoice in him. But if not, may fire come out from Abimelech and consume you, and may fire come out from you and consume him." After delivering this message, Jotham fled for his life. Abimelech's reign lasted 3 years, but it was marked by instability and conflict. God sent a spirit of discord between Abimelech and the leaders of Shechem, fulfilling Jotham's curse. The Shechemites grew disillusioned with Abimelech and began to undermine his authority. They set ambushes on the roads to rob travelers, disrupting trade and weakening his rule. During this time, a man named Gaal, the son of Ebed, arrived in Shechem and gained the people's trust. Gaal openly mocked Abimelech during a festival, saying, "Who is Abimelech, and why should we serve him? Isn't he the son of Jerubbaal, and isn't Zebul his officer? Serve the descendants of Hamor, Shechem's founder. But why serve Abimelech?" Gaal's words stirred rebellion, and the leaders of Shechem supported him. When Abimelech heard of the rebellion, he acted swiftly. Zebul, his loyal officer in Shechem, secretly warned him of Gaal's plans. Abimelech set an ambush outside the city. When Gaal and his followers marched out to fight, Abimelech's forces overwhelmed them. Gaal was driven out of Shechem, and the rebellion was crushed. But Abimelech's vengeance did not stop there. He attacked Shechem itself, destroying the city and scattering salt over its ruins, a symbolic act meant to curse the land and ensure it would remain desolate. The surviving Shechemites took refuge in the Tower of Shechem, a stronghold within the city. Abimelech and his men set the tower on fire, killing about 1,000 men and women who had sought shelter there. Abimelech's thirst for power led him to attack another city, Thebez. Like in Shechem, the people of Thebez retreated to a strong tower. As Abimelech approached to set it ablaze, a woman on the tower's roof dropped a millstone. The heavy stone struck Abimelech on the head, fracturing his skull. Mortally wounded and humiliated at the thought of dying at the hands of a woman, Abimelech called his armor-bearer and said, "Draw your sword and kill me, so they cannot say, 'A woman killed him.'" His servant obeyed, and Abimelech died. His death marked the end of his short and violent reign. The story concludes by noting that God repaid Abimelech for his wickedness and the people of Shechem for their treachery. Jotham's curse was fulfilled. Fire consumed both Abimelech and the leaders of Shechem. This serves as a powerful reminder of the consequences of ambition, betrayal, and turning away from God.